God's plan versus your plan. Trusting in God's timing. As a Christian, we have to trust in God's timing. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. This verse highlights the limitations of human wisdom, and it states that we have to really trust on God's timing. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heaven. We all want things happen in our way. For example, we want to attain a job by a certain age, we want to get married by a certain age, and we want to earn a huge amount of money by a certain age. We all have a blueprint about our life. But sometimes things get delayed and we started questioning God. This is why we need patience and we have to trust in God's timing. For example, from the Bible, Joseph's story is a real example of waiting on God's plan. He endured betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment, but still he trusted in God's plan. As a result, God elevated him to a greater position and fulfilled God's purpose in his life. Why we have to trust in God's plan? Because God's plan is higher than our plans. Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8 to 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways are my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. We cannot comprehend God's plan with our own wisdom. He has a perfect timing for us. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the sun. Trusting God means surrendering our life to Him so that He may fulfill His purpose. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Our plans for life is very limited, but God's plan for our life is always perfect and beyond our understanding. Sometimes God's plan never makes sense to human brains. I would like to say that delay is not always a denial. When we see people around us, we might think that we are behind them and they are ahead of us and they are achieving greater things in their life, they are achieving their goals. Even when our plans fail, it doesn't mean that God has abandoned us. Remember that God has a greater plans for you. How to understand God's plan for your life? Pray and surrender yourself to Him. Read Bible and meditate on it. Stay faithful to God when life seems uncertain. Seek God's face and recognize God's hand. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Embrace patience. Ultimately, trusting God means that letting go of your fears, worries, and anxieties about your future, and believing that God's plan is always good for us. God's plan is always perfect, even if it doesn't align with our expectations. Finally, I would like to encourage by saying that God knows your future better than you. Trusting God's plan, even if your life doesn't make sense, is always worth it. When things don't go in your way, always believe that God has better things in store for you. His timing is never too late, never too early. His timing is always perfect. May God bless you with this short message.